Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Jacob Elyachar Podcast, the 5th anniversary season. I'm so happy to have you guys here, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and please subscribe. If you're listening to this episode on our audio platform, please give us a 5-star rating and download this episode and more episodes as well. There are no words to describe how thrilled I am to be talking to one of my favorite colleagues in the media industry. He's a TV host, film critic, and traveler. You have seen him on Dish Nation, Today with Hoda and Jenna, and NBC News Now. And as of this recording, he has over 14,600 YouTube subscribers and 25,300 Instagram followers. Please let me welcome Andrew Freund to the podcast.
Hello, America and the world.
Andrew, it is a privilege to have you here. I'm so proud of all the work that you have done. And it's amazing that I can't believe 8 years ago we met on a set of American Idol, the Fox version.
Yes, all those years, many moons ago.
Good. So I'm so happy to have all the success you've had and all the incredible interviews you're giving. I'm just so proud and grateful that we've kept in touch all those years for all these years.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Likewise.
Awesome. So let's get started. So Andrew, when did you get interested in journalism and how did that passion evolve into the desire to pursue a career in the media industry?
So my path is totally different than a lot of people's paths. I did not have an initial interest in journalism. I did not want to be on TV. I had no aspirations to be on TV. I had no aspirations to become a journalist, but I got out of college and I started working at the William Morris Agency, which is like a very famous talent agency. And then from there, I went to work at Universal for a studio executive. Then I went to work for a movie producer and I wanted to produce movies. But we made a movie for Fox and there was a publicist on the film and she thought that I would be good at hosting. And I was like, I didn't know. I was like, what's like? It didn't cross my. I didn't even know what that meant. So she was like, no. Like, I think there's something. You got something. You got something. Like, let me introduce you to this guy. So she introduced me to a producer at Fox, and I worked for him for about 12 years. And that was it. Like she completely changed the trajectory of my life. I owe my whole career to her. Shout out Melinda Wood. And yeah, so I kind of fell into this business without any preparation, no school, no school. I mean, I went to school, but no, I wasn't, no journalism school and all that stuff. But yeah.
I'm just in awe that you were at the right place at the right time, and it's just amazing that you've had that. And guys, for no joke, William Morris Endeavors, no laughing matter.
Yeah, I mean, back then it was just William Morris. This was way before the merger, but yeah, it's a good. I mean, working at any talent agency, CAA, ICM, WME, it's kind of like grad school for the entertainment business. That was my very first job when I came out of college when I was 22 years old. So you learn everything there basically. So I'm actually really grateful that I got to work there for sure.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, who are the reporters and on-air personalities that have inspired you, Andrew?
Uh, I mean, I mean, Hoda was number one because, she is a true journalist. She came up in this business working, at local stations, and she went to NBC and she's just the consummate professional. And, Jenna Bush as well. She's also like the two of them are what you see is what you get. They cannot be kinder, lovelier, more professional, funny. I love Hoda and Jenna. Also, when I was a kid, I would watch the Rosie O'Donnell show. She was like a huge inspiration just watching that talk show when I was a kid, and Oprah Winfrey, because when I was growing up, it would be Rosie would be at 3, and I think Oprah was at 4. So I would just watch them on KGO, Channel 7, San Francisco. They're definitely like two. And then also like in terms of interviewers, Howard Stern. Howard Stern is by far one of the greatest interviewers ever. I listen to him all the time. So, all those guys, I mean, there's so many of them, but definitely, those four for sure.
And you gotta say, I was so happy you brought up Rosie O'Donnell because the thing is, I think the Rosie Show, along with the combination of Barbara Walters and Regis, and a little bit of
Hmm.
Howard, but not like the serious Howard, or not the, but like the interviewer. Those four and Oprah too have really were inspired me to enter this industry,
Hmm.
and it's amazing that have you seen Rosie's channel that her nephew's been actually been uploading some of the classic episodes from her talk show?
Oh no, I have not, but I love that show. So I've never met her. I've always wanted to meet her. I've never met her.
She's one of my all-time favorite dream gets to get. And then also the thing is that like with Howard and all of them inspired to me because the thing is with to have multi-career, like especially with Regis and Barbara, that they had over a 50-year career throughout their industry. And with even though with the rise of TikTok and social media, I'd rather have a lengthy career than a flash in the pan.
Yeah, for sure. It's a tough business, so the longer you can go, the better, for sure. Yeah.
All righty. And speaking of that, what have been some of the challenges that you face staying in the media industry, and how have you overcome those obstacles?
Um, I mean, I think the biggest challenge is being told no. Like you get told no a lot and you have to figure, I can be a little bit pushy at times if I'm told no, and you have to kind of figure out the balance of like not annoying people, but also trying to get what you want. So I think that like for me, that's kind of the biggest challenge is really like I don't accept no that much. I just saw something like was it? I think, oh, I know. It was Gayle King was talking about how she just did an interview with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z for years told her, no, 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 no. And she kept kind of pushing and pushing. And then Gayle was like, the opposite of no is on. So I was like, okay, that's like a good reframe to think about stuff like that. So that, I guess being told no is kind of the biggest challenge, but also, trying to get what you want.
Absolutely, absolutely. I get told I'll know a lot with not just with my podcast guests, but also the job search as well. So it's definitely hard to hang in there. But however, the thing is, it's perseverance.
Yeah. You gotta, that's what this business is all about for sure.
Absolutely. So, what have been some of your most memorable interviews that you conducted, and why have they stand out, Andrew?
That's a good question. I mean, I've done a lot of interviews. I mean, I probably the first time I interviewed Oprah, that was one of my most memorable one. I gave her a loaf of bread. She opened her arms and told me that I needed to be hugged by a woman with big breastises. That's a direct quote from Oprah Winfrey, what she told me. And she gave me a huge, huge, like Oprah style hug, and it was amazing. Gosh, and I mean, what else? I mean, I've traveled a lot I mean, I did an interview once with Josh Gad on the Orient Express going from Venice to Paris. That was a memorable one. I mean, what did it's all kind of a blur. I'm trying to think where I've gone. I was in London last week interviewing Henry Cavill. That was pretty cool. I did an interview last year with Jennifer Coolidge in Australia at the foot of the Opera House. That was amazing. She's hilarious. Um, gosh, I'm trying to think what else sticks out. I don't know. Those
It's
are those are what pop in my head.
Those are amazing interviews. I would love to have a hug with Oprah, but also the Orient Express, like, were you like as it was traveling, it must be very interesting because the thing is with the you gotta have like a really good, really, really good setup, like camera wise and everything. And make sure the mics are okay, or make sure everything because that spells like wild card slash anything could go possibly wrong and might go wrong, might happen.
Yeah, I mean, I was there with Fox, so they set up. It was all like a big professional. It was to promote the movie Murder on the Orient Express, and yeah, they set up basically a train car. And actually, it's funny. Al Roker was there doing a live hit. This is before I was ever on the Today Show. This is years ago, but he was there doing a live hit from the train. So it was like lots going on the train, but that was pretty. It was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing.
That would have been a dream one. And also got to mention, when I saw your Instagram thing with Jennifer Coolidge, I was so excited for you because the Sydney Opera House is a gorgeous part of the world.
Yeah, Sydney is. I was just there 2 weeks ago. It's incredible. It's one of the best cities in the world. 100%.
Well, right, while we're on the subject of traveling, so besides Sydney, you've traveled to numerous locations from London to even Walt Disney World. So, what have been some of your favorite international travels?
Oh God. Sydney, London, Hong Kong, Bangkok, Siem Reap in Cambodia. Uh, I mean, gosh. Oh, Malta. I was in Malta last year. Cuba. Um, uh, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to have been to a lot of places. I'm trying to think where else um, Cuba, like, I don't know why that pops in my head. That was actually Havana's a really fascinating place. If you ever get a chance. I don't know what the rules are now about going to Cuba, but that was amazing. And then, like, going to the Cannes Film Festival, covering the film festival, that's such, like, a unique place to be. Um, where else in the world have I been? I've not been on a safari yet. I really wanna go on a safari. Oh, I was just in Paris at the Disneyland Hotel Paris. I do a lot of travel stuff now, and I was covering the opening of their new hotel, and that was amazing. Disneyland Paris is very beautiful.
I still have Disneyland Paris and the Tokyo Disney Resort on my bucket list items.
I've been to Tokyo Disney as well. Tokyo Disney Sea is really cool. Really, really, really cool.
I've seen a lot of the travel videos and like, oh my, well, the food is just outrageously good. And I'm like, okay, I definitely need to go there. But like the thing is, it's amazing. Like once the cameras go off, is it like how is it to have not just for doing social media travel, but also not to make sure like to have the satisfying for personal moments versus like I can put this on social media.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like my life is pretty like I don't there's no line anymore. It's like all kind of work. So, but it's fun. Like I'm having fun. I'm not complaining in any way. Um Also I like just I personally like to document everything. I think it's kind of like a scrapbook of your life. So I don't mind it. But I try to also set aside some time where like I'm offline and I'm not, posting or because you just need to sometimes take like a digital break. So I definitely try to do that in every trip. But I also want to document every trip just for my own personal, to look back on fun memories.
I totally agree. I totally agree with all that. And I need to take a digital break at times as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, so I would love to talk about your work because, as I said in the intro, guys, Andrew's been on a lot of incredible shows and has been a correspondent with a lot. So let's start with Dish Nation.
Yeah, so I've been on Dish Nation now for over 10 years. Dish Nation is an entertainment news show, which is on Fox. It's owned by Fox. So it's kind of like an Entertainment Tonight, Extra Access. I think there's only like four of us. There's only like four national broadcast shows: Dish, Entertainment Tonight, Access, and Extra that are just straight entertainment news. And then there's Inside Edition, but that's more like lifestyle. And then Ease on Cable. And I don't know if I'm missing another
I
one.
think everybody covered. It's amazing that, like, entertainment television, I was just talking with Matt Cohen about his work with on Entertainment Tonight as well. So it's amazing that those shows have been going on for so long.
I mean, Entertainment Tonight has been on for like 50 years or something.
I
Something
remember
crazy.
so funny story. I was actually saw Mary Hart at the National Association of Broadcasters when I was graduating college in 2011.
Yeah, she's an icon. She does. I just saw her. I was at the Palm Springs Film Festival in January, and she's very involved in that. So yeah, she started this all basically. But Dish Nation is definitely different than the other shows. We're much more like comedy focused. Like I don't anything I cover for them has to have kind of a more comedic element. Like we don't do any super serious films. You'll never see me covering something very serious because our show is just more of a lively kind of fun atmosphere. I just booked something. I'm gonna do something with Jerry Seinfeld in a couple weeks. So that's like
Oh wow.
we're in that comedies and action films and anything big and broad. That's kind of what Dish Nation's all about. And plus, we're a panel show, so the way that it works is the show has 4 segments. When I'm on, I have, like, my own segment in segment 3, which will be an interview, and then the other segments are all the other hosts kind of talking to each other. So, I go back and we film in Atlanta, so our studio's in Atlanta, so I'll go back there sometimes. I was there a few weeks ago, co-hosting the show, and, yeah, I love it. I mean, I wouldn't be on there for so long if I didn't love it. It's great.
I just want to let you know, I before you got on, I actually watched your interview. I went back and watched your interview with Timothy Chalamet and Keegan Michael Key. I gotta say, putting Keegan in Timothy's costume and out was amazing, and I was laughing my head off.
Yeah, that was my idea, and then we have an incredible graphics team on Dish Nation. I did not make those photos. Our graphics team is unbelievable. Our editors are unbelievable. They put that all together. It was my initial like idea, and then they have to find the photos, and then they made all that stuff. But that was really fun, and I've known Timmy since the first time I interviewed him was Call Me by Your Name, so I kind of developed a rapport with him. And Keegan is always hilarious to interview, so I knew that that would be like I knew they would be game for it just because I've worked with them before.
And they had amazing chemistry too, and that was, I gotta
Yeah.
say, one of your best things I saw in Dish Nation. And also, I want to give a proper shout out to the entire team at Team Dish Nation because you guys put on an incredible show.
They are our editors, graphics team, producers, direct like they're yeah. The show is I can't say better things about it.
All right. So speaking of shows, and you brought them up earlier, so let's circle back to Hoda and Jenna today. I just love seeing you guys on your Instagram when you guys interact after you just recorded because you guys have feels like you guys have so much fun and your respect for both Hoda and Jenna's shows.
Yeah, I mean, going on as a guest, as a regular guest on the Today Show is a bucket list. The show has been on for 70 years. It's iconic. It's the best morning show on American television, in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, I just respect them immensely. Those two work super hard. I mean, Hoda does the 8 a.m., the 9 a.m. No, Hoda does the 7 a.m., the 8 a.m., then there's the 9 a.m. Hoda's not on the 9 a.m. and then she goes up for the 10 a.m. So they work hard, those two, both of them, and they're super fun and kind and nice and make you feel like you've known them for years. I've been doing this show now for I think about 2.5 years now. And you're at 30 Rock, you're behind you is everyone's waving with the sign. It's the whole thing. It's a dream come true. It really is a dream come true.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I cannot wait to see what you guys do next. And please give my best to Hoda and Jenna. It'd be an honor one of these days to have both of them on the podcast.
You should. They're great. They're great.
Absolutely. So let's talk about NBC News now because there's a little more of a. It's probably the most serious show out of all three that you contribute to.
Yeah, so NBC News Now is NBC's 24/7 streaming news platform, which, a lot of people now do not have television. They don't watch the Today Show. They don't watch GMA they don't even have broadcast TV. So everyone is streaming their news now, and NBC basically has their own streaming service for news. Actually, I'm going to be back in New York the week after doing a bunch of stuff for them. And it's great because I love doing interviews, but I also like covering entertainment and doing sometimes more serious stories. And they just let you go with it. They let you contribute your ideas, what you want to talk about, and they have so many different shows that you can contribute on. It's just a dream come true, and I think they're like the highest rating news streaming service out right now. The other networks have similar things, but I think their programming just doesn't do as well as NBC News Now does. And obviously doing the Today Show, they kind of loop you in with the rest of the things at NBC. So that's one of them, and I love working with them. And you're at 30 Rock, you're in New York. It's really cool. Yeah.
And I gotta say this. I'm so glad you're living and having the opportunity to work at 30 Rock. It's always been ever since grew up with the Brian and Katie version of today's show. I've always dreamed about 30 Rock to see someone like you pursue that and have the opportunity to do that. It just makes me so happy.
Thank you. Yeah, it is not every time I go there, it is not lost on me, especially like, yeah, I'm into architecture and that building is an architecturally significant building. And you go in there and it's Art Deco. It's really it's amazing. It's historic. It's historic.
I actually have one memorable story involving 30 Rock if you want to hear it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I was a tourist at the time. It was 2011, and Tamara Hall was still at the Today before she launched her highly successful show. I actually got her confused with Janice Huff.
I don't know who that. Wait, who's
Janice Huff is the legendary weather anchor over for NBC.
Oh, but is she like local and like NBC? She's
Yeah,
a local. Oh, see, that's why I wouldn't know her. I don't know the
yeah.
local and the
So
local.
it was really cool seeing her walk around. I wanted to say hi, but like I was outside in the crowd during the time, and I thought she was Janice Huff.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry,
Well,
Tamron.
I think a friend of mine works with Tamron. Tamron's great. I've never met her, but I just hear she's really nice.
Was actually in her audience for a 2019 show with Tyler Perry before the world turned upside down. So it was really cool being in that audience. And she has one of the best shows on daytime right now.
Yeah, Tyler Perry also I just interviewed him a few weeks ago. I've known that guy for a long time. He's been so kind to me throughout my entire career. Uh, any project that he has, I'm usually sit down with him for it, and he's also the real deal. Such a great guy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So speaking of guests, have any dream interview guests?
I mean, honestly, one of them was Jerry Seinfeld, and I literally booked that interview about 2 hours ago. So, I've never met him, never interviewed him. So he was on my list. Beyonce is on my list, but she never does press, so that's probably we'll see, maybe one day. Also, like, I would like to interview Joe Biden. I would like to interview Kamala Harris. I would love to interview Tim Cook from Apple. Um, I'm trying to think I'm trying to think who I haven't I mean, I've gotten to speak to a lot of people. Who else? Oh, no, I spoke to her once. Hmm. I would go with those guys for now, just because they're at the top off the top of my head. Yeah.
Those are wonderful, wonderful guests. I've actually wonderful dream guests. Like I was talking to John and Beth from the challenge and getting real with John and Beth a couple of weeks ago, and we spoke about dream guests. And I interviewed Bobby, revealed that I would love to sit down with Bobby Bones and Kathy Lee Gifford because of their ways. And then I've also mentioned I'm like it'd be wonderful if I got to sit down with Howard Stern and Mr. Letterman, and maybe even with the ladies of the View, and especially with Hoda and Jenna. So I definitely think that, and Rosie as well. It'd been an honor to tell her
Rosie.
how much
I would love to interview Rosie. Yes, 100%.
she has so many interesting stories, and like I would love to sit down with her and talk with her about the launching of the show and why and how I think a lot of people follow that show format.
Yeah, and I think that like it's weird because the show's been off for so long that it's coming back again. And like you said, like her nephew started posting the old clips, but I keep seeing it now on like my TikTok, it'll pop up or it was just such a unique show. And I think people like the content right now just isn't, I don't know, maybe we were more innocent back then or something about it. But yeah, I would love to sit down with Rosie as well for sure.
Absolutely. So you just brought up TikTok, so let's talk all things social. So do you have a favorite social media platform that you use to connect, not only look for your stories, but also connect with fans?
Probably Instagram is my number one thing that I use the most, but that's like because I'm old. Like everyone else is using TikTok. I have it. I post on there. Sometimes things go viral on there. You're like, what? Why? I don't know why. I can't. The whole TikTok algorithm confuses me. Um, But I will say the content on TikTok is it's just so specifically tailored to what you wanna see, which is what I like. But I use Instagram the most probably, yeah.
Same here. I use Instagram the most as well. And on not only that, it's very hard with TikTok. And not to mention, Andrew, I gotta say this. You are not old, my friend. You are not old.
I mean, thank you, but I am. But, you're kind. Yeah.
Alrighty, so we got to start writing down our conversation. As you know, we're nearing May, so it's graduation season. So, as people who are exiting college, who are in the media, who want to either become journalists or want to launch your podcast, what advice would you have for them?
I mean, I would say hopefully if you're still in college, you need to get internships. Like I had internships every year since I graduated high school, so, and they were so integral in everything that I've done up till this far. So hopefully you've had some internships, and I would say coming out of school, I mean, I it's so weird because I can't imagine what that must be like now. But I would think if you're passionate about something, go on LinkedIn. That's what I would say first of all, and just start trying to find people that work at companies on LinkedIn and start trying to connect with them, email them, send them messages. Don't be shy. Like you can't be shy if, especially in the media business, because there's so many people that want to be doing this, and the people that get ahead are the ones that are consistently perseverant and consistently don't take no for an answer. But again, if you're you have to be careful not to annoy people. And I've annoyed plenty of people, trust me, just because I don't like taking no for an answer. Um, and also, if you want to be on television or whatever, you don't even, used to be you'd have to, before social media, you'd have to, put a reel together and, even fake it. But now you can just do your own TikToks. If you're into restaurants, go to restaurants, film it, put on a TikTok. If you're into, theme parks, same thing. There's a lot more outlets now creatively that you can do on your own that weren't available, especially when I was coming out of school.
Awesome. And guys, echo what Andrew is saying. Internship, internship, internship if you're still in college, and also if you're summer going out of college as well, if you have an organization. And also LinkedIn has been a huge help for me as well. Even though I'm entering my 14th year of content creation and journalism, I still have those internships have really spoke highly. And please, guys, go back and watch my 4th anniversary episode with Andrew Hio, formerly of ABC Denver, and it is a wonderful conversation. So please go ahead and go back and watch this. But however, Andrew, we got to wrap up our conversation. So Andrew, where can my audience find you on television? And B, where can they connect with you on social media?
On television, you can see me on Dish Nation, first of all. You can see me on NBC News Now. You can see me on the Today Show with Hoda and Jenna. You can see me on Scripps News. Um, Actually, I just started a new gig this morning for a TV show in the UK called This Morning, which is, so if you're in the UK, you know what This Morning is. It's like their version of the Today Show. It's been on for 40 years. It's the biggest morning show on British television. So you can see me there. Thank you. You can find me on social media on all platforms at Andrew Freund. That I have that for all the platforms.
Awesome. So, guys, have you missed an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast? Visit our channels on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Spotify, and Spreaker. Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOB Now, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOB And guys, if you want to find out what's going on with Masked Singer right now, what happened with AGT Fantasy League, want to see all my interviews and my take on Beyonce's new album, visit jakes-take.com. Once again, jakes-take.com. Andrew, thank you so much for taking time in your schedule to talk with me. I'm so grateful for our friendship, and I'm so proud of all the work that you have done, and I cannot wait to see what you do next, my friend.
Thank you, and likewise, and congratulations on this podcast. I know it's not an easy thing to do, and there's a lot of podcasts out there, so I appreciate your chutzpah.
Thanks, Andrew. It means a lot. And guys, Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, everybody, have a great one. Goodbye.